The spiraling corridors of power maintain the hegemonic order in an entropic state. The shape of the spiral is born out of a symmetrical imperfection in crystal formation, allowing the crystal to grow infinitely. Applied to the notion of time, 2 points on each curve may overlap. Each point repeats itself in time. In the short story, The Circular Runes, Jorge Luis Borges relates, male procreation happens in dreams. During 14 lucid nights, he dreamt of it, with meticulous love. Every night, he perceived it more clearly. He did not touch it. He only permitted himself to witness it, to observe it, and occasionally to rectify it with a glance. On the 14th night, he lightly touched the pulmonary artery with his index finger. Then the whole heart, inside and outside. He was satisfied with the examination. At the end of the short story, as the circular runes are engulfed in concentric fire, he too realizes that somewhere, someone is dreaming of him. Mirrors in fatherhood are abominable, for they replicate this universe. As previously discussed, Le Corbusier is a projection of another man's dreams. What humiliation, what madness. Emperor Hadrian conceived of him in the design of his mausoleum, a 269-foot rotunda on 3 floors, accessible by a single ramp. Towards the end of the Roman Empire, 30 emperors succeeded one another in a period of 3 months. It was natural that Hadrian should fear for the future of that son, whom he had thought out, entrail by entrail, feature by feature, in 1001 Secret Nights. A body to the scale of a monument. Too many entrances and no exit. Western imperialism is fueled by this, the desire to duplicate oneself in a myriad of ways so that there will be no reference point outside of oneself. Le Corbusier believed that by subjugating the Orient and its mythic feminine landscape in service of colonial needs, he may uncover the borders of his own origins. For 11 years, he painted on the obelisk plans, a series of urban planning designed for French-occupied Algiers. Structured along a spiraling highway, Algiers was another France, barely 100 years old, already full of life and future, uniting in its happy formula Latin races and indigenous races, making them all French races. One may argue that the progression of the circular runes is an attempt to erase all frontiers between the East and the West. As he loudly proclaimed, "Here is the new Algiers. Instead of the leopard soar that once sullied the Gulf and the slopes of the Sahel, here stands architecture." Architecture is the masterly, correct, and magnificent play of shapes in the light. None of his obelisk plans were ever implemented. The effort to recover construction projects inevitably leads to a continuous process of decay and consequently unsuccessful modernization. He retreated to the other side of the Mediterranean, to the millenary France, with its aches and white Puritanism. Le Corbusier's failed projects in Algiers testify to the blind desire for otherness. Instead of progress, we must turn westward and embrace further decay. After his death in 1965, Le Corbusier was accepted into Hadrian's Mausoleum. A rupture in time, Hadrian's dreams continue to live in the circularity of Le Corbusier's architecture. In 2009, on a short weekend trip, I visited the place where he died. This is the last photograph taken of him bathing in the Mediterranean at Cap Martin. I did a little architectural design of my own. I designed a parking garage based on Hadrian's Mausoleum, an endeavor that took over 6 months, not to see the light of the day. As I've written in the project's description, the parking garage event space, Hadrian's Mall, has the ambition to be a 21st century monument. By taking two perfect geometric shapes, the circle and the square, the parking structure takes on the symbolic power of temples and tombs, while embracing a very contemporaneous purpose of supporting our ways of locomotion. As the tomb is host to the defunct emperor's body, the parking garage is laid out in a structure analogous to the organization of cells. Each stall is organized in doublets or triplets around the rotunda. The car animates the space as cells would a living organism. The subject turned ethnographer examines the conditions of his own birth.